Hello, mere mortals and fellow footy fans of the Premier League world. We are back for another episode of Sports Entertainment Weekly's Premier League review for Gameweek 20. So we have certainly got some results this week, which will certainly linger in our minds for a pretty long time, since the next game weeks and the next games are like nearly 10 days or nearly 2 weeks apart. So the Liverpool Manchester United match and the Arsenal match and our fellow London brothers. Our fellow London brothers just dropped to points where we are in a title race, and that just became advantageous to us. And without much further ado, let's just get on with the blockbuster match of the weekend, which happened, which is Liverpool versus Manchester United. So, debarring the snow, which should have not made the match happen, it was a blockbuster match where there was a lot of slips and there was a lot of uptakes.
David Coote is remembered at this point.
Yeah. He must be lying in the sofa. He must be lying in the sofa with his glass of Carlsberg. So yes. So Klasa, let's start with you. How would you summarize this match, and how would you see this particular performance against such a Liverpool side gunning for the title race and being in the title race and gunning for the title?
Yeah, for you it was title race. For us it was more like ensuring we could get something so that we don't have to. We touch the magic 40 points so that we are not relegated. Sad things, but we are doing things like Chelsea fans nowadays to say like we are not in relegation fight, or we just escaped relegation. We are not in title race. But things aside, I was hoping that the match would get cancelled, to be very honest, or at least be postponed. First and foremost, because there was zero hope, and after seeing. I didn't come on this team last week as well, but I do remember saying this was the performance against Newcastle was the most dismal performance I've ever seen. It was extremely bad. No, it was actually extremely bad. The scoreline did not do justice.
I thought you had a huge sample size and you picked the best of four.
No. Actually, see, to be honest, United lost 7-0 to Liverpool, but they played better in that game than what they did against Newcastle. So that's how bad it was. The scoreline actually did not do justice, but I'm glad that we got the players back. I watched the game with 0% hope. I was just hoping that Salah would be scoring at some point of time. It was just a matter of when. That was what I was thinking based on the form that he was in. But looking at the game, United just decided to show up on that day. And I have reiterated this many times. Amorim got 2 training sessions this week. Something which he has not been able to get for quite some time. He has done more media sessions than training sessions for United, sadly. So this is what a training session does for the team, because certainly the players decided to show up and we got a better performance. There was intent from the team. There was dedication, there was an attitude, and there was a hunger to win the game as well. So that was there, which we couldn't see all this while. And that too, they decided to show up against Liverpool, which made it even more happy for me. Because even when we were having the glory days under Ferguson and Liverpool was having their banter days at that time, you'll always see that those fixtures will, no matter what, those fixtures will always be spicy. And I am just glad that we got another classic this weekend, just to top off a great weekend. I don't want to speak about the game immediately, but I think this has been consistent across the week as well. And that is the bias in refereeing. So outrageous refereeing decisions throughout the game. And I'm just surprised and baffled as to how Michael Oliver is allowed to referee such a big game every single time, because he always intends to make the game about himself rather than allowing the game to happen by itself. So that was a sore thumb that was always there after the game. But it was always what if, because if Harry Maguire had finished that chance, you'll probably see another jumping version of me, because no one expected this to happen. But I'm just happy that we got this performance, because it has been probably 8 years. I think it was last Mourinho time when we scored at Anfield. It was Mourinho's last game when we last scored at Anfield. It was Jesse Lingard who scored the last goal, the PL goal at Anfield.
Yeah, when Rooney still didn't have hair in his head.
Yeah. Uh, But yeah, this is actually one of the best performance since Louis Van Gaal's days, actually, to be honest. And they decided to
I
show
mean,
up in Anfield. And
come on, Klasa, cut yourself some slack. You had like really better performances against Leeds, newly promoted Leeds United. You battered them final in the opening day of a Premier League season. Like Pogba was on fire that day. Remember that day, those days?
yeah, but no,
You
I'm
had
I'm
better.
specific about
Yeah.
Anfield. I'm very specific about
Get you.
Anfield. So
Get you.
you never go to Anfield and get a performance like this, ideally
Yeah.
speaking. And this is by far one of the best performances at Anfield. And I just think like it just went against the script. Liverpool had some other script in their mind, and Lisandro Martinez scored, and I could see Liverpool was rattled for some time. Like
Yeah.
what they were doing correctly all season, suddenly they were a little shell shocked as to how they saw United scoring, because United is currently in a relegation form, whereas Liverpool, you all know, is possibly one of the best teams in Europe right now. And you didn't expect this from both the teams ideally. United showed up, and Liverpool was, I believe they were far too complacent in my opinion. And the very fact that United players ran more than Liverpool players just showed how much United wanted to win the game in comparison to Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think more than them being surprised by Manchester United, they were surprised by how poor Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold were.
Yeah.
It's almost like they didn't turn up in this side of New Year. They just thought, okay, I'm good with 2024.
No, I am surprised that you are surprised that they are bad.
No, see that's how funny the team is, because the last time when Liverpool won the league, we gave praise to their fullbacks. This time, if Liverpool does not win the league, it might be because of their fullbacks, because that's their weak link right now.
I mean, yeah, like if Mo Salah contributed to 80% of our goals this season almost, Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are the main reasons for 80% of the goals that we have conceded so far. So they would have been our Achilles heel. They would have been our Achilles heel going forward if they committed more mistakes going forward, with every single point being important for the title race. So, like, as Eja here said here, I'm reiterating the same point. They were abysmal today. Like, abysmal is an understatement, to be honest. Today, Robertson's and Trent's performance. The literal Van Dijk shout, the shout that Van Dijk gave, and the literal death stare that Van Dijk gave towards the end of the game summarized Trent's performance by not even tracking back a single time and not even winning a single duel or a clearance or something. So, yeah, it was pretty abysmal, and him symbolizing that it's time to get out of the club. Who knows? Maybe, yeah.
I think Trent is already in Madrid right now in his mind, because the performance basically signified that. And I'm just surprised that Arne Slot has been given such a bad decision to be handled here, because there are three core players: Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Van Dijk is quiet, and that is what you need from players right now when you are trying to win the title here. Whereas you have Salah and Trent, who are going weekly, giving interviews and saying like, we don't have a contract, we don't know what we have to do. So, you'll have to possibly do something from a sporting director perspective, because this is not looking good for Arne Slot, because this is not his work. His work is to handle the players and ensure that they get the 3 points every week in, week out. But he's been given a very tough job to handle. But like, I think props has to go to Amorim mainly here, because his substitutions were perfect. He did substitutions correctly. I am surprised that Dallo was allowed to stay, but he decided to show up in the second half, even though he was booked very early and he was playing against Salah. So Salah had a penalty, but he didn't do anything all game, apart from the penalty, to be very fair. And the left-sided half space where Mainu, Bruno, and Dallo, they did like a 3-on-1 attack against Trent Alexander-Arnold all game, and like Trent had no answers for any of this. And Dallo is a player who rarely beats anyone one-on-one, and he was taking Trent all game, which is quite funny because it just shows how bad Trent is in a one-on-one situation.
I mean, if only Maguire's goal went inside, right? Like, all the Manchester United fans would have knee slided on a ceramic tile. Okay, I'm pretty sure about that, to be honest. Okay, they were that high about Maguire. Also, like Klasa, like
I think
Also,
given the injury situations, they would not take any risks. They basically say, I am not okay, we won the game, let's go do an ice bath and sleep.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
but also see the thing is, my main thing was, if you look at the stats, it looked like it was a very balanced game, and it was not a game where Liverpool completely dominated. United just came and hit on a counter attack. That was not the. It was a very open end-to-end game, and the game was played on United's terms, which was quite surprising because you are the top team in the league. It is your home. It's Anfield. I am surprised that Arne Slot took such a passive approach in the game, and I believe he gave far too much respect for United. Even though I'm a United fan, I'm happy with the result, but I just feel like he gave far too much respect for United, considering the form that United was in. Starting from the first half, set
No,
the
I
tone
see.
as
I
to
think
how
you're taking a lot of discredits away from your how you guys played. I think it's not the case of them giving respect. I think it's you not letting them play. More
we
of
didn't
that.
let them play. We didn't let them play, but that also is because how passive Slot's approach was. Because he was far too defensive in his approach. Like ideally speaking, you wouldn't see a Gakpo like playing so behind in the game.
Hmm.
So the press was always initiated only by Diaz and Salah, and the left side was always left free, which allowed Mazraoui to always. If you see, Mazraoui was always in the right center half space closer to the central line. He was always given that much amount of room. So United never had to play a low block in Anfield itself, which I find a little surprising because they might say it's a low block, but United rarely played a low block because they always had an extra man and they were always trying to look for a forward pass.
Yeah, I
And
think it's probably, I want to say that in terms of how Manchester United set up, right? I still think it was a low block, low to mid block. That's where you oscillated. You didn't start too high up in the pitch because they rarely kind of put a ball behind you, right? Because there's no
yeah,
space for them to throw, like Trent or Robbo to kind of find Salah or Gakpo on the other side. They hardly had any space. And another thing that Liverpool probably missed out in terms of a trick is they played too narrow. They played too narrow for too long, right? And which actually played into your hands, and that they didn't start with a double pivot, right? They had one pivot plus two oscillating eights, and
yeah,
Ugarte and Mainu were exceptional yesterday, right? I think while
exactly.
we talk about Dallo versus Trent and Ahmad versus Robbo, I think the real battle was how good Mainu and Ugarte were in
Ugarte,
terms of covering open spaces, tracking runners, being first to the ball in terms of 50-50s. I think that's where the game was won. You made it very difficult, I think, to Ani's point. You made it very difficult for them to build up from the mid. I want to say the center half, right, or the
center.
center. So
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
And
interestingly, from a neutral's perspective, if you take all the managers coming this season, new managers, that is Maraska, probably Slot, Amorim, I'd probably put Amorim as one of the most different, or how do you say, standout managers of all the other managers, because see, most of them have been descendants of Pep. It's like high octane football where everyone like plays, your Slot plays the Klopp way, Maraska plays the Pep way, Arteta plays the Pep way. And what is very interesting is with Amorim, he has a system. If he can sort out whatever he can with United, and probably in the field, outside the field, everything, and get the club going, his system basically beats every other system. The way he is going to set up United, the way his setup is basically nullifies all the Pep system, because we've seen what he did with Sporting Lisbon
against
against
City,
sorry,
against
yeah,
City.
yeah. So this is very interesting, how he actually develops, and whether he will have his own style of how soon can he implement this, and how soon can we see this, because next season is going to be really interesting, because when his system sets, he can basically nullify every manager's system here. And I don't put Maraska as very, personally speaking, Chelsea, Maraska is very easy to beat when you have a system that nullifies. We've already seen it in the last 4 games. So I'm very interesting to. I'm very excited to see how Amorim develops from a neutral perspective. To be entirely honest.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, Amorim's, we always speak about the formation. The formation is the least of the worries because you can always change the formation, not change the formation, but change the gameplay based on how you play with the ball without the ball. And it's not going to be like very formation specific. The main thing is the attitude of the players. That is what has to be changed right now by Amorim, and that is what he's going to do as a part of this season. Because I remember it was saying this as well earlier. This way of playing, when to run, when to press, when to receive the ball on the turn, all of this has to be done through training sessions, and
Mm.
that is something that he has not got all this while. And the more he gets it, that is why you see Ugarte again flourishing, because Ugarte is someone who has already played under Amorim, and Ugarte was like playing like a monster yesterday. Like he knew when, where to run, how to run, and even the last ball, which the Harry Maguire chance, Ugarte had three options to play.
Yeah.
He could have played a back pass to Onana. He could have played the square ball to Ahmad. He took a ball all the way to Bruno, which is the most difficult pass to play, and Bruno played it to Xerxes, and that's how the Maguire chance was created. So all of this will only happen when he gets more time with the players on the training field. And yeah, but all this aside, I think it's more and more as we see the players run, I will be happy. It's just the intent that matters right now, results aside right now. But I think first and foremost question to Charlie, do you think refereeing decisions were good in the game? Were they fair, first and foremost?
Okay. So okay,
See,
I'm
for me, Delict
see,
penalty is a
yeah,
penalty. Okay? But
yeah.
if
That's
Delict
that's an
is a
outright
penalty,
penalty. Yeah.
if Delict is a penalty, why is Konate is not a penalty?
Konate is really not a penalty because how, like, is he supposed to tie his hands behind when he's defending in the air, the two in the D box? Like, he's
I
not
can
supposed
ask
to
the
do that.
same
He's not
question for
expected to do
Delict.
that.
I can ask the same question for Delict
No,
as well. And
before even passing the ball, his hand was outrightly out of his body. Delete.
even
So that's
Konate's
why it
hand
was
was
penalty.
out.
No, he
Darwin
was in
Nunes
the
was
air.
Darwin
How would
Nunes
you?
was an absolute trade. Darwin Nunes came
Yeah,
all the way,
Darwin. I
did a
mean,
clothesline from hell on
yeah, yeah. I
did a
mean, I
clothesline from
mean,
hell.
I mean,
Then you
Euro.
had huh?
don't even get me started about Darwin Nunes. The guy came on, did some sprints that was really, really like not at all worthy enough. He did a clothesline and he did a red card worthy tackle. And after the game ends, he just gets a Manchester United t-shirt and just showed a love symbol to the fans. I mean, how retarded are you, bro? Like, I don't get you. I can't support you anymore. Just get out of the club,
The thing, the,
along with
the,
Trent and
the
people.
thing
Yeah.
is so cute about Darwin Nunes is if you tag him in Instagram wearing any red jersey, he thinks it's Liverpool and he
Yeah,
still
he thinks
likes
it's
it.
Liverpool. I mean, he's typically acting like some master student, 23-year-old in a business school or something. Like tagging you something in a suite, he thinks he's him. Like, yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's been 20 minutes into the podcast, and it's peeps. And I'm speaking about new managers, right? There's a really, really old manager out there, really out there in North London, which Anirudh might really attest to. So he's been drawing against teams like Brighton and many mid-table teams and calling it unfair and injustice to the abysmal performance that his teams put. So
The thing
Casemiro, like,
is, I
yeah.
can enjoy it if I won this weekend. I didn't win this weekend, so I cannot enjoy it.
So I
So I
think
can,
as the only team that's actually won this weekend, I'll take the cue on that and then
yes, please,
run with it.
please.
Yeah.
But I think Arsenal's biggest challenge is keeping up momentum, right? Because what is happening is when they kind of go into teams like Brighton, they get really confused in terms of what they need to do, and that teams have found out how they are playing with Odegaard and Saka. Now, when you start eliminating each of these players, he's now gotten into a stage where he's very confused in terms of how do I go about playing,
Yes.
right? I think that there are games where he'll go and win 5-0 or whatever, right? They went and bet Brentford the weekend. So they'll go and do all of that when the teams are actually coming onto them and they give wide spaces and can do it. Brighton is, on the other hand, is a team that plays high tempo, right? They just kind of they just run you rugged all parts of the pitch, and for him to be choosing or for him to kind of play with three what do you call it, not so cute eights, right? All physical people who actually want to where he looked at physicality more than control, right? Is then telling me that, oh, he's okay to let go of control, but he doesn't know to what extent. What happens is then he puts Rice against the two the what do you call it, two defensive midfielders of
Baleba.
Brighton, Baleba and Bifer, and every battle Rice was losing. Rice was very poor.
And
Uh,
it's tough to ask Rice to do all the work as well. Baleba has been in the form of his life. He's one of the standout players this year as well.
because Baleba runs. He just
Yeah.
runs faster, quicker. He's very quick. When that is a 50-50, he just senses it very quickly and he just goes after it, right? So I think that's where they lost the plot in terms of playing it very high tempo. They were also very rushed into playing passes, not really kind of controlling the tempo of the game. And I think that's where they played into Brighton's hands. To be honest, it seems like Arteta is still trying to figure out how to play without Odegaard and Saka. This is his sixth season. For a manager to still have that conundrum, and that he's invested so much in the goalkeeping. He's got 6 goalkeepers or 5 goalkeepers, 11 defenders, 5 or 6 central midfielders, but he's never bothered to look in terms of what he does with the forward positions. He's just telling me that he's actually kind of looked at it the wrong way. Now he's just found himself in a conundrum where he can't escape out of it.
I think not just that, they got the lead, a well-deserved lead, to be honest. By the time that they scored, they got a very well-deserved lead. They are not a Jose Mourinho side like Chelsea. They are not Jose Mourinho's Chelsea to bring a Mikel and then shut the game down after 45 minutes. They are not that good a side, to be very honest. They should have ideally gone.
Let's be honest, right? Like we all kind of say that they don't think they're not the what do you call it? Paulo Ferreira, Ricardo Carvalho, Terry, and Czech. I don't think that kind of a team can play in today's era, right? Because the game has changed so much. You're expecting a centre back like Terry will no longer be playing because you would expect him to be so good on the ball while he was decent at the ball. You would expect him to be a combination of Rio and Vidic. So we say all of those things. I think the games move very forward. And to your point on Arsenal not having a great defense, I think they're probably one of the best at keeping clean sheets, keeping the shots at a low percentage shots, right? Because the last 8 games that they played, their average XG or the total XG that they had against us, again, if XG is a measure that you want to go with, it's just 1. 8 games put together is just 1. So the shots that they're conceding are low quality shots, but they just.
But you should also look at the opponents that they are facing. They haven't faced quality opponents. Brighton is not a pushover like how they used to be before as well. As you have rightly said, they are a high tempo side, and they have decent attackers and decent wingers who can easily beat a man and bring like good cutbacks for João Pedro. Earlier in the season, Welbeck was scoring for fun purely because he was at the end of every cutback that Adingra was giving or Mitoma was giving. All of the and Minte was giving. All of this was happening for a reason. And I know you would want to possibly, let's say, shut down and say we can close the game. But see, when your midfield is getting ragged run all throughout the game, you cannot rely on a 1-0 lead all the time. You have to at least go and kill the game some way or the other. And that they did not do all game after getting the lead.
Yeah, I think so. The flip side to that, Klasa, is you then end up becoming a Chelsea, where you've got a lead, but you're still chasing the 3rd goal, 4th goal, and then you start conceding silly goals, and then it becomes a toss-up, right? So again, there's no right or wrong approach. If it works on that day, then we'll all be praising it. Like Crystal Palace, Chelsea, they could have easily shut down and then said, "Oh, I think these guys are doing nothing. I might as well kind of." They went after the 2nd goal. It was so stupid in terms of how many bodies that they were committing. Right. So, yeah, I think there's no right or wrong in this, is what I'm saying. I think he's just, in my head, Arteta doesn't know what to do with his forward line or how to kind of set up in a way where he can achieve both chaos and control.
The very nice way of saying this is Arteta has taken this Arsenal side as much as he can. And now I don't know. See, it's very difficult for Arsenal fans because I don't know if there's a manager who can actually come and challenge for the title immediately. And it's a question that they have to ask within themselves. And I think they keep on asking. And I don't think so. Arteta is going to be sacked anytime soon. His position is only being
Yeah,
strengthened at Arsenal, and he's not going to be sacked. But is he hit a roadblock, or is this the maximum he can do? This question will always keep popping up until he wins the Premier League. An FA Cup or an EFL is going to do no justice for his
Spending.
expenditure and all that. See, at the end of the day, um, I think I all talked about him not being Jose Mourinho or Pep Guardiola at a different podcast. I just told him saying he's not best of both worlds. He's like 50 of this, 50 of that, but not complete. He's like jack of all trades but master of none.
Last of
It's
none.
not good. It's
exactly.
not good for an team like Arsenal because they expect trophies. And how long can you go without competing? You can. I don't care if you take the team deep. I don't care if you take the team deep in every competition or a team deep in a Premier League season, compete and come second. If an Arne Slot from a different league is coming and winning it in his first league, and another manager like Maraska who had a little bit more say than what you had in your first season, what is stopping you? Yes, Chelsea have a different big squad. Arsenal had their own problems of selling out players and bringing out. But now you have your players. You've already competed for the title for 2 seasons, missed out a title by 1 point. The title was all yours, and at this season, if you are not actually winning the title or anything else, I don't know how long Arsenal fans are going to be patient for.
Arsenal
Totally.
Arsenal
Totally.
will never win because I think I said this before as well. Arsenal have only three world-class players. Okay, Saka, Saliba, and you can possibly say Odegaard as well. I don't even classify
Yeah.
Rice is borderline world class, but I don't think you can regard him as world class. Right, he's not a Kante level right now. So you cannot win a league with just three world class players, and they don't have a world class number nine who can take the pressure out of Saka and Martinelli, because Saka has been run like he has been playing 100 games every year, almost like 80, 90 games, be it club and country. And it's not surprising that he has been injured right now. The player management is so poor because the levels drop from Saka to your next player from the bench is so drastic right now.
It's
And that's
so
why Arteta
ironic,
does
no?
not.
Nanda? It's so ironic, no? Because Arsenal fans compare Saka to Salah, and how long has Salah been injured for?
No, I
Zero.
don't remember. I don't remember the
And
last time. Yeah.
how many times has he overplayed? How many times has he been overplayed by Liverpool? How many times has he gotten rest? As simple as
Yeah.
that. That defines your world class players availability. See, world class player, when you are going to term him, it's all rounded. No, it's not just
Yeah.
about skill. It's also includes
About
your availability.
availability.
Yeah, and if I understand, see, Saka's being played too much. I empathize with Arsenal fans, but if you are going to consider him world class, availability also comes into a factor, unfortunately.
Totally. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Aja was just speaking about like Arteta doesn't know what's right and what's wrong. There's this hideous twin of Arsenal in North London itself who also doesn't know what's right and what's wrong, and who just lost to a really, really worthy Newcastle team where they're firing on all cylinders, right? And Aja, out of all respect, I think Salah is one of the best players in the whole world right now. And after that, in the Premier League, I think Haaland is the best striker, out and out striker in the Premier League right now. And like Alexander Isak is giving a really, really tough competition to Erling Haaland in terms of how clinical he is in the final third. And he just scored against Tottenham and just buried the game. So, how would you summarize your performance? And yeah, Newcastle have been really, really strong in the last 3 to 4 games, if I'm not wrong. So, how do you see yourself going forward since the mid break? And there's been a lot of games coming next. So, yeah.
I think we just spoke yesterday on another podcast. I think it's just about getting the balance right. He's got two. I think he's found solace in actually having Tonali play as the number 6 and then Bruno to play the number 8, because which is then unlocking Bruno's creative side, which he does for Brazil, and he used to do it in the, what do you call it, in the Farmers League in France. And certainly we didn't see him do it for Newcastle because we then saw him as a number 6. That he is now playing 8. He's so good in terms of the vision, in terms of how he strings, and he very rarely loses the ball. I think my only other comparison that I have in terms of drawing fouls, winning ground duels, as much as Bruno is doing, right, in terms of his ceiling, is someone, Dembele, ironically a Tottenham player, right, who used to be so good on the ball, keeping the ball, controlling the ball, winning ground duels, almost always getting fouled, but never loses the ball, right? I think that is what is actually giving us that, what do you call it, that the base, right? We used to be so good off the ball, right? We are world class off the ball, but on the ball we used to be very average, or we are anywhere between average and above average. That's our level right now, right? In terms of the players that we have, but just by having Tonali and Bruno playing in the positions that they should be, is actually giving us more control on the ball. So we are able to do better things with the ball. And therefore, what used to be just be a 1-0 victory in the 70, a 1-0 lead in the 70th minute, where we're just looking up beyond our shoulders, and just one break becomes, what do you call it, a 1-1, and then the result changes. We are able to effectively put the dagger to the opponent's hearts by then converting a 1-0 to a 2-0 to a 3-0, and then get on with it, right? So I think that's where the balance is. And Jacob Murphy playing at the right wing spot is given us that balance in terms of putting crosses in from both sides, with Hall on one side and Murphy on the other. Isak is getting, what do you call it, as much service as any other striker in the league currently is, right? And which has also had an uptick in his form. So I want to say the balance is what has created this momentum. For once in the last 6 games that we have played, we have not been, what do you call it, we have not been too bad in terms of, again, I say it with as much humility as possible. We've not been too bad in terms of how well we have approached the game across all phases. Earlier in the season, I think we used to play three 15 minutes very well, and then the other 3 15-minute slots will be very bad, right? It used to be so inconsistent within the game itself. But I think we have hit all of that, is what has caused this momentum. But I think very specific to this game, I want to say that Spurs definitely deserved the result because they were very good for their money, right?
In the second half especially.
In the second half especially, because they put all the bodies forward. They were creating so many chances, which again, us trying to be very professional. We just kind of said, okay, we know what you will do the second half. You will commit bodies. We are going to hit on the break, right? Which is then inviting as many shots as we conceded. But I want to say they deserve something from the game. But that we saw it through until the end, it means that we are very professional as a team. That's it.
And what do you think, Ajay, changed? Because I remember how Newcastle started the season, right? They were inconsistent because they had a very small window, as you have rightly said, where they'll perform only for that small set of time frame and they'll try to get that result. What do you think Eddie Howe has tweaked since then, which has led to this amount of consistency? Because right now, you cannot say Newcastle dominate every game throughout, but you find that they are able to grill results, but with better performances throughout the game.
Yeah, I want to say application. Right. What he's done, what happened was right after the Brentford game, where we lost 2-4, and it almost seemed like we have forgotten how to defend. Right. So what has happened is Eddie Howe pulled each of the players, the starting 11 plus 4 players, and he's had 1-hour sessions with each of them to tell them, hey, this is where you're going wrong. This is what I'm expecting out of you. And since then, if you look at it across the board, across the last 6 games, our average team rating is 7.8 or 7.6.
Wow.
All right. And all players have had performances over 7 across all of those games, which means that he's got everybody then thinking, oh, this is what I have to do. All right. It's just application that has changed between the previous run and what is now consistency. But again, I think the games are coming thick and fast. I think I was just telling this to Ani and the other podcast yesterday. I think our level right now is 6th, 5th or 6th, realistically, or 7th.
Yeah.
Right? City will catch us for sure. Right? And I think which would then mean we're automatically 6th. We don't know if Nottingham Forest are going to have a drop. All right, I'd really wish for someone like Nottingham Forest to continue this run, because
Yeah.
it just brings back a lot of glory again in the Midlands.
You are their feeder club. You are their feeder club, obviously.
I
No,
just want, I genuinely want Nottingham Forest to win today so they can put pressure on Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean they are bringing back the classic Barclays PL era. Like they might be doing like a mini Leicester to the 2015-16 thing if they continue with this really good form.
We are back to the 1960s with Liverpool and Nottingham Forest again in the top.
Hey, 1980s.
1980s. Yeah.
80s, yeah,
For
80s.
25 years, which Manchester United didn't even do anything.
Yeah,
People don't
I know.
remember Manchester United being in the top
No,
half.
Glass didn't ask for this. Glass didn't ask for this.
I think
Yeah.
might as well call your team Plaza. I have to do it because I have so much of angst against Manchester United in general. I think we don't-
Yeah. Fake rivals, bro. But we don't consider you rivals, but it's okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I don't consider you rivals either.
Rivals.
But you have so much angst. I don't have any angst against Newcastle. I don't consider them at all. I'm indifferent towards them. Okay.
No, I think
You're a
once Sir Alex
two
Ferguson
manager club.
started,
You're a
See,
two-manager.
like
exactly.
how
Would
my
you
grandfather,
manage it?
Sir Alex, said, Newcastle is just a weak club from the north.
You say it as
Oh,
many times as you want to, sir, but the times are changing.
Yeah.
No, I think once Sir Alex Ferguson started winning titles, right, like the peak of Alan Shearer era, Manchester United and Newcastle had a little riff off.
Yeah.
Like
For 4
when
seasons,
they were,
we were
Yeah.
either second or third.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I think there was a small rivalry going on. So yeah, guys, drum roll right now, please, to the team which is seemingly not in a title race. Okay, so
And
yeah,
finally, you can speak the truth.
The thing is, now Chelsea fans look like Harichandra from the Tamil mythology. They were always
Okay,
taking
Ani, I will give you one for weekend. Jadon Sancho got another assist. Okay, take that.
Oh,
This is something that I'm giving.
honestly, dude. The thing is, honestly, the goal was the assist were more important than the goal itself. It was how he did the assist, but it doesn't matter anymore. Honestly, we need the 3 points. We did whatever we could. Honestly, defensively, it was not a poor performance. We were defensively solid. We made all the right decision in terms of subs and team selection. It's just that we, as Chelsea, at this point in time, have one bozo moment every game. And all these 4 games, we had one bad moment, and that's changed the game entirely. And Crystal Palace, it was Cole Palmer. Being hypercritical, it was Cole Palmer. I still think we could have defended it much better, but that's basically how it is. Could we have done subs earlier? Could we have not done subs earlier? That's always debatable. And I think Maresca, before I answer, Maresca has already answered it, saying I already got in likes of Giu, and I already got in likes of Madueke, who did fuck all in the game. So I might as well have not made that substitution and answered your question. So, well, his frustration is basically all these players are making themselves not available by not training during the week, because more than us, sitting and reacting to the game, he's seeing them week in, week out, and he knows the application and intent on how well they are training. And this, I think, already I've talked a lot. If you can't make yourself available for a busy period of time and can help your club and make yourself available in a busy period of time like this, I don't think so. Your manager is going to ever get the faith on you. There's 2 ways of looking at it. From the player's perspective and manager's perspective, I always put manager's perspective, because he's going to have the final say and he's going to put a lineup. That's how I see it. So if you are not going to make yourself available and help, especially in December, where there are at least 12 to 13 games in this month, it's very difficult for you to be a part of this club, because the likes of Nkunku, you bring in so much experience and you still can't make yourself available. If you're better than Jackson, might as well prove it and claim your place. Don't keep on crying, saying I'm better than Jackson, I can do this, that, and XYZ. Well, now, if you want to critically debate it, I can also say he's been playing at Conference League, and if you put him at a Premier League level, he might not be able to perform immediately also. there is always two things, and we can always play this devil's advocate game. But I am always taking the manager's side at the end of the day.
And I
Ani,
think go ahead.
Yeah, Jaguar. You go on it. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, Ani, I think we've talked about this earlier, right? In terms of managing a large squad. I think in Chelsea's case, for once, where we are looking at Arsenal needing strikers, City needing players, and all of that, making their team better. In Chelsea's case, trimming the squad will actually help you
Yeah.
be better.
I think,
right?
see, might as well, whether it's this January window or the summer window, we don't mind losing players, honestly. And Maresca, if you are losing a player who is regularly starting the first 11, that's a problem. If you lose player like Nkunku, who's not started a lot of games, if you lose players like Disasi or Badiashile or someone who's not been starting well, might as well thank you. Please take him away is what I'm going to say at this point in time, because we've always sold well and we've always been that club who sold well. And the thing is, we hold all the aces. We've held them for what, 6 years. If you want them, might as well pay and get them. And that's one of the reasons clubs might be now. If you are that, if you want that player that badly, now we hold all the aces, saying now what you have to pay whatever we ask. So that also that we hold the cards. So as simple as that. I don't see a lot of problems at this point. I like how Maresca is handling. I like how he's handling the club. I like how he's being very firm on his point. You play the way I want you to play. Otherwise, you're not going to start. It's not a given that you're going to start before, because you didn't start the weekend. And it's not about him not also giving chances, because he started two youngsters who are experienced players like Nkunku and Madueke and Achampong. If he's going to start Achampong over Disasi, that tells you how poor Disasi is in training. Honestly, it's not like
Not
he's
just in
going to,
training. Not
yeah,
just in
exactly.
training.
Not just in training, exactly. I genuinely feel this is what he's doing with Disasi and players who are actually fringe, was what I call them. He's trying to make them as look, or trying to get that purple patch out of them so that he can push them out of the club. That is exactly what I think he's trying to do. Because if he's like playing 5-6 good games before a January window, and players like, oh, now he's in a good form, might as well buy him. So that is what I think he's doing. But again, I don't have a lot of problems, even though we are dropping points. Honestly, 70 points is all I expect. It's what, 70 to 75 points is all I expect. Now it's like what, another 34 points to 35 points in another 18 games, and I'm happy. Just don't lose the Conference League. That's all I want.
I think
Just
the main thing is Chelsea is such a young side.
Yeah.
You have to bring inconsistency in the side into the picture, and
Correct.
this will happen during the course of the season ultimately, because they don't have like a Terry or a Lampard in the squad who can get this tune out of these young players as well. So that is where Maresca has more work to do, because they don't have that kind of a leaders in the squad right now.
I also genuinely think some Chelsea fans really bought into this title race gimmick. That's why they are actually sad that we are losing points. Otherwise, you don't expect Chelsea fans to be sad for losing 8 points or 10 points in 4 games, because we've lost so many and just one game in 13 games. We've seen all kinds of things in the last 2 years. I genuinely think some fans actually bought into the hype, saying, okay, we are maybe genuinely in the title race. I understand the emotion, because see, we've crossed the tough phase, and 4 games, if we had probably crossed the threshold of December, we might have the conversation of, oh, actually are Chelsea in the title race. That's what actually I was telling a lot of people in the space. I usually attend the space in Twitter. I was saying, if Chelsea win all the 4 games that they need to win in December, we genuinely are in the title race, whether you like it or not. And that actually did not happen. And 70 points is bare minimum. For top 4 finishes a must, and Conference League is like, please don't fumble it.
Okay, guys, for the last drum roll, the hidden unspoken elephant in the room. Are Man City really back? Like,
I will genuinely say this.
I'll leave this to the
I saw the
quorum.
game. I saw the game. I saw the game. The 4-1 looks
Okay.
very flattering. They played
Okay.
football against West Ham. West Ham had so many chances. West Ham could have actually genuinely drawn the game or won the game at a point in time. But one's a little bit of an overstatement. At least made a tough meal out of themselves. But I think still Man City are nowhere being to their best. They will still struggle to finish 7th, probably 8th. If they keeps on going, I
Can
put
somebody
them.
clip this? We need to clip this.
The thing is, I keep on saying this.
Adi, you'll have to do this as a part of your 1 minute reviews. One segment on all of your predictions
The
from
thing
here.
is, I've been very consistent with this particular point. It's just that the Man City keeps dropping; they never rise. From my perspective, I told them top 4, top 6, now top 8. I still think they will finish anywhere between 6 to 8 is what I'm saying.
They
Because
need to find the balance in the midfield, correct?
yeah,
They don't
and
have that balance.
teams around them are playing extremely well. I don't see Nottingham dropping points. I don't see Fulham dropping points. I don't see Newcastle dropping points. I don't see Bournemouth dropping points. These are all very tough teams and extremely tough. And if Chelsea again start to find their form, it becomes very difficult. And no one's going to catch Liverpool at this point in time. And the only team who can make genuinely, is Chelsea. I see Chelsea are the only inconsistent team in the top 6, top 7 right now because of their current form. Otherwise, I don't genuinely see City being coming back. They still have a lot of inconsistency in the midfield, attack, and defense. It's just a purple patch, is what I
Mainly
call it.
midfield. Mainly midfield. And you see, Pep has also gone back. Savinho is now playing like a Leroy Sané right now on the left wing. He's done with this inverted winger thing. He wants service now to go to Haaland some way or the other. So he has just taken route one approach now, and he has started to bring crosses because the ball progression is not happening centrally for his team right now.
And another thing is, go on, Charlie. I've been speaking.
And even though like a Bournemouth or a Fulham, or like Ani mentioned here, a Bournemouth or a Fulham or Nottingham on their best day can topple Man City any day. It seems Man City have found their juice in the attacking third, to be honest. Savinho and Haaland look more confident. And even Pep Guardiola looks confident in the last 2 to 3 games. His interviews have been confident. His very demeanor is changed since the
Pep Guardiola is a GOAT manager. He has to be that. And don't please buy into the Savinho hype. Savinho is just a busy-looking player who's not that good. He's just in a purple patch. I will tell you that much.
Okay.
And another thing, Charlie, I think to your point, for City to be back, they are chasing Liverpool by over 10 points, right? Yes. And they need to win every single game, which they have done in the past, right? They've done it in 3 out of
multiple
the last
times,
4 out of the
multiple
last,
times. Exactly.
There's one season where they played poorly and Liverpool played poorly too, so they won, right? But them to win 16, 17, 18 out of those 19 games is extremely difficult, right? And I don't think they are in that position or zone to kind of get as many points. I can think an average of 2 points per game, which will then leave them at, 72 points, which is again 4th on a good day, on a good season, right? So I think that's where their levels will be between 4th and, I want to say 4th, because I still think they have a better squad than the rest of the other teams, right? So I don't think they're back. Their performances are poorer than the results have been. So I think the results have been flattering, at least in the last couple of games.
So yes, so we are over the mid phase of the Premier League season, guys. So one thing that I wanted to ask all of you is whose stocks are rising and whose stocks are falling. Name 2 stocks whose stocks are rising and 2 stocks are falling.
Let's not talk obvious of Manchester United, Tottenham.
Instead of that, let's do something different. We have Chelsea, United, Liverpool, and Newcastle. Let's see where our clubs will finish at the end of the season and come back to it after the season.
Yeah.
Okay then. So like I'm rating winners. Yeah.
Yeah, but all of the others, you have to rate all the other 3.
I will also put Liverpool as 1.
Okay, wait. Yeah, Liverpool 1, Manchester United 4. Okay. Yeah. This might come as a surprise, but I am 4, like Yeah, I am
They
saying
are
this.
13th. You know that, no?
Yeah,
They have to climb
I
9th
know.
place.
They're 10 points
And
behind us.
stranger things have happened in football, Ani. Simple as that. Yeah, that's what I predict. So yeah,
Okay.
and Chelsea fifth, and because like I am seeing a miss in the chemistry that they have, because the recent dismal run of form came against teams like Ipswich and Fulham. Imagine the loss of chemistry against teams like Arsenal, Man U, or even Newcastle. So that's what I'm predicting. So that's what I'm worried about for Chelsea. So Chelsea fifth and Newcastle sixth. Yeah,
Good stuff. And you want to go next?
yeah.
Yeah, Liverpool. I'll do top 6. Liverpool, Arsenal, uh, Chelsea. Fourth is very difficult. I'd probably put
Nottingham. Nottingham.
no. It's very difficult.
Okay.
Uh,
Newcastle. Probably.
Newcastle also. Yeah, probably I can see either Nottingham is very difficult to call. The top 4 is very difficult. Fourth is very difficult to call. It's up for grabs. I don't know who will finish fourth. But
That
again,
is
United,
why. That is why I put Manchester United.
no. There is it. There actually, if you want to put, you can actually put City than United. I would put probably, at this point in time, as Aston Villa. Let's do that to
Oh,
be
okay.
different. And fifth is basically Newcastle. Sixth, I'd put City. Seventh, I'd put United.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
Klasa?
that's
Yeah, hurts to say, but probably winners Liverpool. Uh, Liverpool will win. Arsenal second, Chelsea third, Newcastle fourth, City fifth, Nottingham sixth,
okay.
United seventh.
Yeah. I almost kind of
Very
agree
good.
with the top 6 that you predicted. I might think Nottingham Forest, we still have a few points to catch up on them.
Yeah.
Right? If they win today, then I think they go further.
Everyone
beyond that reach.
rating
So I
of
want to
Fulham,
say-
that is very different.
Yeah, so I want to say that the same 6 that you said, Klasa, and then
Oh.
7th could be Bournemouth. I want to say we could finish 6th, Nottingham Forest could finish 5th. 7th could be Bournemouth, 8th could be Fulham, 9th could be Brighton, 10th could be who else? Aston Villa, or Aston Villa could be this 8th, 7th, or 8th. 11th could be Tottenham, 12th could be West Ham, 13th could be Manchester United.
Where do you put Spurs, bro? Where is Spurs?
I have to do it. And look at Klasa's face with every team that I just said it.
Yeah.
Just had to do that.
Always.
In reality, Manchester United will finish.
Always.
Yeah.
They'll finish 10th.
No.
Yep.
I don't think United will finish in the bottom half. I think they will gradually climb up. That is my belief. We won't finish in top 4 for sure. I'll be happy if we don't finish in European places, but I would want Amorim to go as high as possible in the Europa League.
Honestly, Klasa, for your situation outside the club and money or being all the priority, I want you guys to finish because it will.
Lost him.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Europe is something that we need. If we win it through the Europa League, that's the only way that I see United getting into European places.
So now all of you have to pray that Chelsea has to win the Conference League to improve the coefficient.
Correct. Yeah. And all of the
Exactly, yeah.
teams in the Champions League going until the quarters.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think, Klasa, just a shout out, you're 10 points behind Tottenham, who are not Tottenham, Bournemouth, who are
Bournemouth.
holding the last of the European spots. So
I don't think Bournemouth can sustain this. In my opinion, they will certainly falter somewhere, like how we say for Nottingham or even City, right? City and Newcastle. There will be certain blips, and that is where United will have to look and capitalize.
Interesting. Good stuff.
Yep. Lots of FA Cup fixtures to come, lots of UCL, Europa League fixtures to come, lots of uncertainties, rough patches and purple patches. So, lot more games to come. Let's wait 10 days more for the next Premier League round. So, yeah, see you guys until the next round. Sayonara.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.